Come on in. I am so excited. Y'all know what it is, Talkers versus Doers with the Mental Game series. And we always bringing you guys something awesome. But it's a little different. We had a couple of coaches and stuff on here. But this star brings it all together from coaching. So I'm not even going to keep talking. Ari, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here. Blessed, highly favored.
Most definitely, most definitely. And we already got to plug the lock game in. Y'all see it. I'm just saying. Y'all think call us lock sisters. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Loving that, loving that.
Yes.
So, for so many young ladies, that's the mental game. We talk about that mental game of sports or what it means to just be all in. But before even getting there, you got to tell the people not one, not two, not three, but 4 degrees that you established in. So tell the people about your degrees and kind of what led you into going into that path.
Yeah. I know coming out of high school, I had a couple looks for junior colleges. And my junior college coach, I ended up going to Santa Fe College in Gainesville, Florida. And one of the things that really sold me about her presence and her recruiting like message was that she wanted to know what my goals were outside of the sport. And so that was very important for me. She talked about academics, like my career goals and all that stuff. So again, I was like, okay, I need to focus on that. Because again, worst case scenario, if you don't make it professionally, you need something to fall back on, have a plan. And so she was talking about that from day one of recruiting. So I ended up going to junior college there, got my associates in exercise science. I originally thought I wanted to do physical therapy, athletic training. And so I took all the hard science courses, chemistry, all those hard science, maths, etc. I ended up transferring to University of North Florida in my hometown, Jacksonville, Florida, where I got my bachelor's degree in psychology. And then junior year of undergrad, I was like, I want to go to grad school. I really want to find myself, gain more experience. Because that's the downside of being an athlete. Your time is limited. And so I felt as though I didn't have as much work experience. And so I decided I wanted to go to grad school and kind of figure out what path would be best for me. And so I moved to Tallahassee, Florida, where I went to Florida State University and it was a double degree program. So it was a Master of Science and an EDS degree.
Wow.
So it was a 90, something around that hour range, credit program, 2 years, all the summers were involved. And I learned so much. So I had my grad assistantship where I was working on campus as a career advisor. I was counseling students, community members, in sessions. I was teaching, I was doing research. I was also working part-time as a facility supervisor for intramural sports. So I was doing a lot of stuff because I didn't want to take out no loans.
I'm talking about, we got to bring this closer to the screen though. Now we bring it closer to the screen because she just said all this that you was doing in the midst of still playing everything. Where did you get that just momentum and that, what came in that mindset? Like you said, I know it was you didn't want student loans, but what else came with that for you to just be like, I'm gonna do all this and I'm gonna complete it?
I think I always had a hustle, a grind to myself. I always, even from a young kid, I wanted to do it on my own. And I think, and I will say the downside of that, when I got to grad school, I burnt out and I needed to ask for help. So luckily I had this great supervisor. He's a Black guy, still close now. And I was able to just be in his office and communicate, I'm doing too much. What do I do? I need help. You know what I'm saying? And so I was able to kind of take things away from my schedule. Because I didn't even mention the 2 research studies I was doing with different professors, and that wasn't even paying me. I just wanted to gain experience. I was definitely I'm gonna say yes to everything. If I could do it, I'm gonna do it. So that just in terms of that hustle and grind, but also that I just always had that mentality, if I have an opportunity to do something, go for it. Even if I'm scared, take the risk. The worst that can happen is you fail, or they say no, or you grow from it. So I I think always just having that mentality. I mean, also just watching my mother from a young age had that same type of hustle. Like she hasn't stayed in the same job for 20 plus years. Like she's always grown. Like she worked in education, but like she started as like a recruiter. She was an elementary teacher. She was a reading coach, assistant principal, went to principal. Now she in HR. Now she's trying to like still build upon her career, you know, and she's 51. Like she's still hustling. Like she's in a doctorate program right now. So it's like it's never too late. Like,
yeah,
so,
see this cool
yeah,
mama.
see that, and I'm like, I could do it too, you know.
Mm-hmm. What I love what you said about that, you had that hustle and the mentality to keep going. But what a lot of people don't talk about, as we always specify on the mental game, you said it was self-care. You had to look at yourself and say, okay, I got to take self-care for me. And I think a lot of times, not only as athletes, but as females, especially Black women, we still had that stigmatized of we got to be that strong Black woman. We got to keep going. So how important was you to be able to have that mentor or that guy you went to and say, hey, this too much?
Mm-hmm.
You know, was it hard for you at first?
It was super hard.
Kind of give the people like how you did it.
Oh my gosh, it was super hard because again, to that point, I didn't ask nobody for anything. You know, I was always, I think, especially like Black families, you're taught, especially with religion, you're taught like to pray about it, just fight through it. It's gonna get better. But they don't talk about the side like mental health it's a battle, you know, because there's just so much going on outside. And I mean, if you want to bring in religion, God has put people in power, put people in place that is to help us. Like we don't have to be alone. And luckily I think it's so important to have representation in the places that you work. Luckily I had a Black guy that I could feel comfortable talking to about that, because I'll be honest, like it was an all white staff, I probably wouldn't have felt comfortable to go to them and be like, I need help, you know? And so that was important. But also on top of that, my program was a career counseling program. And so I learned about mental health diagnoses, like through the DSM-5. We had to do counseling sessions with like students and people that are going through mental stuff. So I mean, even though it was career counseling, you still, that people don't just come in, okay, they may come in for a resume, but they may break down crying because I mean, they got life stuff going on, or they gotta have this pressure on themselves from their family, because you going to school for this degree, you need to get a job by the time you graduate, you know. So it's all these pressures even within career. And so I learned quickly, like I can't help these people if I'm not helping myself. So it was hard though. It was very hard. I wish I would have realized that way earlier though, in terms of like mental health awareness and stuff.
No, I love it. I love it. I was talking to a young lady about that today. Like you said, you couldn't help people. And the term and words I used with her was trauma can't help trauma. Like you got to release that trauma before you can help someone else. But sometimes because we believe we can help other people, because we got that blind spot of our own trauma.
Right.
So we got to be able to get that trauma out on him. Now, going into that, because knowing amazing athlete, amazing sports player, with all you did, like you said, just you. I'm gonna tell you guys, it's only half of what she just saying, and then all the barrel she said, plus her back team sent. Yo, it's crazy. So now you're actually playing to on the league, correct? Okay, so you're playing, you also play growing up and all those aspects. And one of the biggest things we talked about, because I still want to keep on that self-care and being able to go to people. South Carolina, when they played in Ole Miss too, you guys go back on YouTube, especially Ole Miss, and one of the young girls said that the reason she wanted to play basketball up under Ole Miss coach and some up under Don Stanley, because they wanted somebody that looked like them and talked like them, that understood them. So it was easy for them to go to. So growing up in your career playing basketball, were you able to have someone that looked like you that also coached you, that you was able to go to? And if so, how important would you say that is for a Black woman now, a Black girl now saying, I want to play basketball, I want to get to that next level? Do you think that's something that is important?
Oh yeah, it's super important. I will say in terms of like head coach, because I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I did not have many Black women coaches in like my leadership. Like in college, I had a Black man, I had a white woman in charge. High school had 2 Black men, because I had 2 different Black men coaches. Before that, like when I first started taking it serious, I could join like this AAU team in 8th grade. That was a Black woman. And then I even did like individual training sessions with like one of these Black women that I looked up to because she played in college and she was like giving back. But I certainly think it's important if I could go back, if there was more of those opportunities to like be under the Black woman coach, I definitely would have, but of course, you
guys, we're not pushing racism at all. I always say that even just, pertaining to what we just said from her last topic, but even just a female coach.
Yeah, it's so important.
Under that, actually understand you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think even in those moments, especially recruiting, you get what you want. You got to get what you can get, you can't be super picky. Because there was some opportunities for me to go under Black female coaches, but things, it's just circumstances. And, I'm still grateful for the leadership that I was under, but I certainly think it's so important to have someone that looks like you and has been where you're at. As just a coaching staff, that makes sense. But yeah, again, I'm just kind of even talking earlier, the representation aspect of all, even outside of sports, the mentors that you put around you, like if you want to be somewhere, you got to surround yourself with people that you can look up to, that have some of the past. Because at the end of the day, like the reality is, like, white women and Black women go through different experiences, and we're still women, but you go through different experiences, like, period. We can't hide our skin color. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to see this first, and there's going to be biases and things that you're always battling as a Black woman.
Most definitely.
So you can go on a tangent with that, but that's just what it is. That's the reality of this country.
Most definitely. I love it. And y'all know we both have that psychology background too, so definitely it's gonna be more topics. Even off air, we'll have to talk about, because yes, I'm loving it. So what made you fall in love with the sport of basketball? When did that start? If you can, relate back to what age that you just say, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, I was in a lot of sports growing up. Like, my mom, because it was me and my mom from an early age, and she put me in a lot of sports just to be active, kind of figure out what my niche was. I mean, I actually was a competitive cheerleader for a majority of my childhood. And so that was what I loved first. Like doing the stunts, routines. It was a sport. It wasn't like not taking away from them, but this was competitive. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were practicing. Our coach was hardcore. And so we traveled for it. So that was pretty much the first like sport that I really enjoyed at a competitive level. 5th grade, I was introduced it by this guy that I knew during my recess, during my class. He needed like an extra person. And so I was always like the athletic person. I didn't mind being outside running around. And so he asked me to join the guys. And it was scary at first because I was the only girl out there. But I kind of changed the culture at my elementary school because like I did it, and then other girls felt comfortable to do it too. Because I think. Because this was, 2000s. I feel like that wasn't as common, just growing up seeing that.
Yeah, and it's still not as common.
Yeah, it's not as common.
Yeah.
And so I think that's when I first really liked it. I felt a love for it when I got to like 8th, 9th grade, because I was like, okay, I can actually play this. Let me pursue this for college, And so that around that age group, that's when I kind of figured out, I'm pretty good at this. Let me stick with it.
So what are some things that you did to prepare yourself? Because we're going to say, the 8th grade, you went through high school. We got a lot of athletes that I know that watch this are at their junior, senior year, and they're transitioning. Like, how do I get to that next level? Because as me, being, as I always say, I was a former coach, a former player to collegiate level. When you get to the college level, it's girls that have not better than you, but just as, and doing so much more than you on a talent level. So how do they prepare, and how did you prepare yourself for that college level?
Yeah, like you said, there's always going to be talent. But I think what people fail to realize, when you get to that next level, what's going to set you apart is your work ethic and your consistency. Like, I think the ones that are putting in extra work outside of the court, what they're putting in their body, what they're doing extra in terms of watching film, really learning the IQ of the game, is going to set you apart. Because you can be the most athletic, you could be talented, but if you aren't consistently working on your craft, then you won't see results. Like you're not just gonna wake up and be great every single day or every single game. You're gonna have to put up extra shots. You're gonna have to compete every single day, not, when I feel like it. Because coaches see that. They see your body language. They see what happens. Like if you have a bad game, what are you gonna do in response? The trust level that you have between you and your coach. Like, are you actually learning the style of play that they like, or are you being stubborn because you feel like you're better and you know everything? All those things you should already go ahead and mentally start doing. And I think a lot of young players like fail to realize, like, they feel like they know everything because they're talented. And some of their coaches, like, they let them do that. They let them talk to them however they want to. They let them have bad body language and response or cussing or doing all that. Like, you can't do that at the next level. You're not going to play. Like, you're not. They can take away your scholarship. You know what I'm saying? It's a business, and so you got to know how to be professional, start being mature. And then your game will start to mature. And then I think mental health too, like, go ahead and start, figuring out your self-care routine, because it's not going to be 100% every single day. Like, it's a roller coaster, and so you got to know how to be mentally resilient very quickly at the collegiate level and even at the pro level, or you're not going to prosper in the long term.
Yeah, she just gave you guys the whole playbook in a couple of seconds, like ringing the bell on y'all. We was in the background, like, you gave the whole playbook on that. I love into that mental resiliency of being able to have that in that bounce back. Again, I do one-on-one in our group settings with young ladies about getting to that next level, being self-aware of who they are. And a lot of them, as you said earlier, was, I don't really like my coach. But the thing is, if you're trying to get to the next level, it's not about liking your coach. It's about what you can produce to make sure she's going to like you. Because if you can put up the points and you can do what you're going to do, she can't help but to put you on the floor.
You don't got no choice. Right.
Like, you have to play.
Got to be coachable too. A lot of people are not coachable.
So what would you say your style will be? Like you said, you have to be coachable. What will be that part of it? Because people, we're just going to say our younger generation, especially as young girls, because we're emotional, we're social beings like that. And we see social media, we telling them be coached. The first thing I'll say, I ain't finna kiss my coach, but I ain't finna do that. But what will be your example as being coachable and understanding that you have a job just as well that coach got a job?
Yeah, I think too, I don't know if this answers the question. I think you just got to learn how to navigate different personalities and navigate. It's like a game of chess. Like, when it comes to sports and leadership and the coaching staff, it's not like you're being manipulative, but you got to know how to play it. And like you say, you got to perform.
Yeah.
You can't do all that complaining, but you get on the court and you don't produce. So it'll be different if you're producing. Okay, let's get back into it. Let's have a conversation. But if you're in it, and I think too, going back to practice, like, if you're not producing in practice, they're not going to play you, because that's pretty much a prime example of like what you're going to do in those pressure moments in the game. Like, it just goes into that trust factor. And regardless of how you feel about a coach, this is where you're at. You can't transfer every second you don't like something. Like, you're not going to do it in a job. Porter. I know, and that's common now, but like, yes. I don't know. You just can't do that in life. You can't just quit as soon as something doesn't go your way. You have to navigate that, work through it, have a conversation too. Like, because at the end of the day, the coach is a human just like you. And I feel like if you're going to them being honest, like, that's what they brought you here for. They obviously trust you enough to bring you to this team. Have a conversation. Wait a little bit, see if y'all can brainstorm, have some strategies. If you feel as though it's still not a good fit, maybe you need to leave. Maybe you need to think of some other options. Maybe you need to sit out a year and grow, and so I think it's just, again, it's with that maturity.
Right. And definitely, on both ends, because you've had the ability to, of coaching. So tell the people a little bit about the areas and places you have coached at, because a lot of times, once again, I'm always talking to my younger athletes. Today, this is really for you guys. Coaches, I know you come on, but they go say, oh, you just saying it because you played ball before. But now you're giving them perspective from both ends. So, and giving them social proof that you are who you say you are. And she got the proof, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because like for the past year, so one of the coaching jobs that I have, I'm like a trainer for this AAU team in Richmond, Virginia. That's where I live. So it's called Pro Skills Basketball. And so pretty much any kid any kids that don't make the AAU teams, because they have like the 3rd through 8th grade high school teams. So they come to me. They can go. So depending on how many sign up, I may have one kid for a session. It's literally an hour twice a week, or I may have 3 or 4. Sometimes I've had 7. And so these are the kids, like, they have to focus on the fundamentals. Like, I'm not going up there trying to do all these flashy drills, shooting a bunch of threes. Like, I'm really trying to get into the ball handling, simple concepts of, like, pick and rolling, V cutting, working on your defensive stance, just competing, and I would say with these group of kids, they're hungry. They're coachable, of course, this age group, because it's middle school age. You have to repeat yourself a lot, be patient. Their attention span can be a little, off sometimes, but their energy, their hustle, their drive, like, they're very coachable. And I enjoy doing that. I also work with the Washington Wizards and the Mystics in DC. So I travel up there sometimes to do youth clinics. I just finished this Wizards week. It was a week clinic. So 9 to 3, Monday through Friday. And these were age range from 6 to 14. And so again, kind of similar, like, very energetic, but they don't like to pass. They just gonna dribble the ball. And some of them, in my group weren't as coachable. And so I had to, like, pull them to the side and kind of talk to them, and especially the ones that got down on themselves when they don't score, or they did something wrong, or they didn't win this competition drill. And it's like, hey, like, you have to be able to think next play mentality. You can't sit in this, because if you sit in it, you're not going to grow, Yeah. And I pull in my own experiences. Like, sometimes first half of the game, I'm 0 for 10 or whatever it is, but you're going to sit there and not play the rest of the game, or you're going to respond in the second half, and so you got another half, respond or bring something else to the game. It's not always about scoring. And so that was one of, like, the main conversations, like, with the kids that entire camp. Like, you don't have to always score when you have the ball. Like, pass it.
Yeah. I love that. Again, kudos to you. We giving you your flowers now for what you are doing, sis, and being able to do that. You guys, like I said, she has the social proof, but I like for the facts to come out that person's mouth, or what you're doing for the Wizards, also doing that coaching. And that takes a lot, like you said, from the kids that didn't make the other AAU teams. Because right there, I don't want to spill a lot into that, but I had the pleasure of coaching AAU too, but I'm not in favor of it currently. I feel like that is a different dynamic right now. Kudos to the ones out there that are doing the right thing on it. But when you're just joining a group of kids together that are favorably from all the best schools, but they come back to their high school and they don't see a difference in their game, it's a waste.
Yeah.
It. So if you want to, you can piggyback on that, because that's a topic that I've had on lives and everything. So
yeah, I know so pretty much my supervisor, when he first reached out to me, he was like, do you want to do a team? And I didn't say that, but it was just kind of, that's in the back of my mind. Like, I kind of don't want to get into that world either. It just doesn't feel right to me. And there, like you said, there probably is some great, organizations, but it just feels like a popularity contest to me right now. The development, the fundamentals, I just don't see it happening. So that's why I really like just doing the training sessions, so that I can prepare them for that next level. So when they do get there, they're making a difference, to see that growth. But yeah, I have no desire to. I have no desire.
Again, my young ladies catching this. You heard someone on the big stage said, you may find a great team, but you still have to do your fundamentals. If you're just going out of town and again, you're not developing to be better, not only just better, but twice as better than you was when you left out that court for the summer.
Right.
You have not advanced. Now with all the things that are coming with the NIL deals, these young ladies are hungry. I'm excited for college ball. I'm ready, because I know they coming with a different mentality, because now just money, it rules society, it rules the world. And with money behind it, you got to be bigger and better than just a talk. Like, you really have to come to something. And some, unfortunately, again, not pushing off to racism. We have some great schools, but I'm from Birmingham. I'm from the city of Alabama. What represents us and take us apart, because we go to AAU, but we got the kids over the mountain that learn how to do picks and fundamentals. They go into camps where you're at. They're going to get that. Their parents not sending them at AAU. They're going, possibly when it's over with, but they understand the fundamentals is what's going to get to the next level.
Yeah.
And it's something that I always try to preach to young ladies. Learn those fundamentals. That's something people can't take away from you when you learn it. And your fundamentals is going to develop the rest of your game. Mm-hmm. So you have to pick up off that. So yeah, that AAU, it kind of just get me routed up sometimes because I'm like, oh my God, you could have been here, you could have been there, on that part. So definitely hearing from someone, and now jumping into Women's Drew League nominee. How did you feel about that? What was your feeling when you got that?
Yeah, because it's unfortunate because right now I'm in the AEBL league. I'm doing that now, and I wish I could have did both. But like the weekends were similar, and so it's all the way in California. But I wanted to do both. But yeah, pretty much I had the opportunity at a team that I could have played with, but I couldn't do both Atlanta and California. But yeah, I felt really good that I had that opportunity, that chance. I'm definitely gonna stay in contact with like the coaches, so just in case. But yeah, right now, like in the AEBL, we have like a couple of games left in the regular season. We're actually like talking about mental resiliency. Like we're 0-2 so far. And so right now, as a team, we gotta like not stay in this past. Like, of course, like we're competitive, we don't like to lose, but we have to like build upon what we didn't do and move on and get better. And I hate losing. I hate it. It makes me skin crawl, Mm-hmm. And so right now I'm hungry. I'm ready for us to like respond,
So as a team, how are y'all co-in? Because we talk about mental health and we talk about that mindset, but sometimes we have a lot of young girls to say, well, I'm good, coach. I know how to, bounce back. But how important is it not just for you, but your team as a synergy for all you guys to get on that one accord?
Oh my God, yeah, it's so important. Even being in the chat, saying positive things, thinking about what we're gonna do for this upcoming game. Even me, just having conversation with a coach, see what I could do better in terms of my leadership. Thinking about game plan, because again, it's outside of just the game, but like where are we at mentally before we come into it? Even within the game, when we get down, like it's a game of runs, you can't sit in that. And so that kind of has hindered us for those first 2 games. And so again, we have to learn from that and just build upon it. Take it one play at a time, because even if you get down, you can turn it around really quickly.
Definitely. Mindset is the key, ladies. Like the mindset that you put in the forefront and visualize everything throughout that game. That is so huge because it's so easy, as you said, to just get down at that standpoint on it. So loving that part, but we're talking about basketball and all those things, but you are a full entrepreneur too. You got a lot of great other things that are going on. So tell the people about the other things that you have going on too as well. And also, we want to know what team are you on? I've been looking at a couple of y'all play as well. Shout out to Coach Harris with Bishop State. I know she has a team. So I'm looking forward to actually come to Atlanta and get y'all scheduled and check out some games as well.
Yeah. So I'm on the ABL Elite team. And I'll send you the schedule so you can have it. Right. And then in terms of just like my entrepreneurship journey, like, I was in a career counseling program. And so like my last year of being in the program, I was like, I love all the stuff I'm gaining. Like, I want to do this myself. That was during 2020. That was COVID year. That's when I started like the business. So I started a career consulting business. And what I ended up doing, I just made an Instagram page saying that I'm doing like literally like $5 resumes, which is crazy. It's so cheap. But like, yeah, I started doing that like for a month. And I got so many people like coming in. And I guess too, because of the pandemic, people were probably like, okay, I need to switch jobs. Like I need to get something remote or something like that, or just keep it updated. And so that's where I started. And I have the LLC now, but I've helped like hundreds of clientele, like repeating client just with their resumes, cover letters. I've written, I helped somebody even like their college essay, like revising that, interviewing, just consulting sessions where we can kind of talk about their goals. So everything I learned in school and even throughout my full-time job, because my full-time role, I'm a career advisor at a university, but I've been doing that for the past couple of years. And so it's just like clockwork to me now. And so I really just enjoy helping people with their career guidance because I kind of wish I had something like that. just trying to navigate, even like picking your major, trying to figure out what you could do with your skill set. Interviewing is so hard, and so I love to like assist people in their development in that way. And then I also recently started a sports brand called AK1. So it's a finger sleeve brand, something that I recently did, and just kind of speaks to who I am, being number one, keeping in mind that you have this winning mentality. It's something fashionable that you can wear while you're playing your game, whether that be basketball, football, whatever. And so, yeah, it's hard. It's hard being an entrepreneur, though. It's a daily grind, but I'm trying to stick with it. I'm just trying to, especially working full time, like coaching, playing basketball, all this stuff I'm doing. I wish I had two of me sometimes, but I'm enjoying the process. I'm enjoying the opportunities that I have to do these things.
Y'all here. She's doing. You gotta be beat. You gotta be beat. Since I thought I had a lot of stuff going on, but there are good things. And I always tell people, while you can, you have the opportunity to explore everything to see what's best for you. I think one of the biggest things when we're sports players, we're told just to play that sport. So it's out. So earlier when we first started, you saying there is life after sports. So you have to develop that. Just like you develop your skills, you're developing your life. What are the fundamentals and things that you want to gravitate to? And to be honest, when you do a lot of different things, and if it's your purpose and passion, it's still going to meet up with your foundation.
Right.
Everything you're doing and helping people and you're giving back, all that is within your foundation. So when you get people who say, hey, you just need to slow down, knowledge just may be you ain't doing enough. Some of y'all need to do more. Y'all got too much time on your hand. But me, with the time that I have, because every second count, I'm going to do what I can to get to that next level. But also, I'm pulling other people up. That's the big thing about us. We don't want to pull other people up when we get to that next level. And the great thing about you, you're in different doors and places because you helped other people.
For sure. I think service always comes back. We should do it regardless. But like, I'm always promoting like the energy you put out is the energy you get back. And like we gotta help each other, especially people in our own community. Like we can get in our different silos. Like we gotta be there for each other. So yeah, even me, like anytime somebody reaches out to me, whether it be DM or they text me, need some advice, or like, how did you do that? How did you secure that opportunity? I go ahead and tell them, because at the end of the day, there's enough spots for all of us. Like we don't have to gatekeep this information. Like, believe it or not, white people ain't doing that. They sharing, they doing everything, So like,
there.
So we gotta like just be together, be powerful, like beyond measure, because we have all these talents and abilities. So we have to share it. You have to share the knowledge and just reach as many people as possible.
Like they said, knowledge and information is meant to be shared. People are all the time, and I know some people are probably saying, I hear y'all talking, but they're gonna go do this and do that. What's meant for you is meant for you, and what's meant for them is meant for them.
Period.
And that's something you got to be self-aware of yourself, and you got to gain that understanding, and that's going to help you. The thing about basketball, I would say with me in sports, it's a life game. So it taught me so much. That was the same thing when I was on the court. It's like, look, what meant for me to get in the game, I'm going to get. When my name called, that means I need to be ready. So it's the same thing of life. What you're meant to receive, you're going to receive. And what you're meant to give out, you're going to give to someone else because it's their blessing for them to do something. Like somebody had to give you a piece of knowledge. When you guys first started playing your sports, your basketball, soccer, somebody showed you that. Or you saw it. And then you was able to perfect it. So that's the same way of life.
Right.
You got
I
to
would say, like, I know a lot of people don't think this, but just looking from the outside, because, even with social media and just, things from the outside, you see all the accomplishments, but I've had so many no's. Like, I've had so many lows. I've had so many no's. Like, it's crazy, and nobody knows about that side. I need to post that. Like, I need to post all the stuff like this didn't happen, this didn't happen. Because there's so many, I can't even count it, and I think, again, I don't sit in the no, because if you sit in it, you won't move forward. You won't, like, again, you won't evolve.
You get the no's help you.
Yeah, in that moment, it hurts. It hurts. You feel like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm better than this. Like, you should have done this. Like, you should have said yes. But like you said, what is meant for you is meant for you. That maybe you didn't need that yes at that moment. Maybe you weren't mentally prepared for it, physically or just structurally ready as you think you were. I think everything happens for a reason. And so maybe this next opportunity is going to be even a better fit. Everything is going to be the right fit at the right moment. And so as I look back, those no's, I wasn't ready for that at that point, like I thought I was. Or maybe I thought, okay, this person's doing that, I need to do it too. And it wasn't for the right reason. So it's like a mixture of those things to keep in mind too.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, we can go on and on with these conversations because it's so direct and it's so profound for it. But as y'all know, we love to have our guests come back. So I don't want to keep you totally too long. So my question is, you're gonna have a young girl that's looking at this and saying, okay, I'm in a dark place. I love sports, I love basketball, but I don't see myself going to that next level. Like, what would be some words, if you could, to pull them out of that, to be able to continue striving to that journey of success that they want to go into?
Yeah, and this is outside of sport if they decide not to go to the next
Yeah,
level.
even if they decide not outside of sports or just now, because we get such in a dark place and feel like we can't move out. So what would just be the words for that young girl that if she want to maneuver through sports, or just saying maybe sports ain't for me, like,
Yeah.
how do they maneuver through that?
Yeah, I would say identity. I think that was something I struggle with. A lot of people struggle with. They don't have an identity outside of sports. Like, what are you actually passionate about other than dribbling a ball or throwing it or being athletic? Like, we're more than this physical attribute or performing for someone else. Because at the end of the day, we're performing for someone else. What are you doing for yourself that makes you genuinely just get joy? Whether that be, for me, I enjoy writing poetry. I enjoy traveling. What are you good at? Like, what can you do to better yourself outside of this performance? Because you don't always have to be on. So when it gets down to it, there's that low moment, or when you just kind of unpeel all those layers. Like, who are you? What is your purpose? Like, what is your service to this world? What are you bringing? And if you don't know that answer yet, work on that every day. I still am working on it. I'm still trying to figure out like what my purpose is, because at the end of the day, it's a lifelong journey. You're not going to figure it out in 4 years of college or 4 years of high school, whatever you want to say. But I think that's something that you really need to start thinking about as you're, starting your late teens, your 20s, etc. Kind of take it by those years, like, because you don't want to be at the same place you were 10 years ago, right? And so start writing down your goals, your visions. I write down all my goals and they come true when I do that. Let's go ahead and say, like, this date, this is when I'm gonna do it. Like, you see the opportunity, go ahead and write it in your calendar. I do it in my notepad. I write it right there. Like, this date is blocked out because I know I'm gonna get it. And even if I don't, let me go write the next one. And so whatever your strategy is, do that. Go to counseling. Like, stop trying to act like counseling is weird or you freaked out for that. Like, no, it's okay to get help. Because again, like, if you're going through those dark places, you can't get out of it if you're trying to do it alone, or you're not talking to someone about it, you're not reflecting. You hold that stuff in, bad things can happen. So kind of mixture of all those things are important.
All those. Well, we thank you. I hope y'all got some gem and some nuggets, because I did. Thank you for just being humble and willing to come on and share this. Most definitely, we got to get more on here again with you talking. I specifically had a certain couple of group of girls that I want to be watching this, and I told them they're going to be watching this. So definitely, I get feedback for them, even with some of them possibly coming on. I would love to do that again, because, like I said, I got a lot of young juniors and seniors that are in there and really need to hear that. And that everything is not our time, but it's God's time. And like the words you just said, believe it or not, are like sessions I just had with some young girls. And they need to hear this because they're at that breaking point. And I'm like, okay, we gotta crawl out of this. So for the young ladies, y'all know who I'm talking about when y'all see this. Most definitely, this was for you. Anytime I do something, I bring people on, it is led by the universe to bring the right people in to give out that information. So, I thank you for humbly for doing that. And just before we leave, is there anything that you got coming up you would like to tell the people, or that you're doing to leave them with?
I mean, again, I'm just really, like, for the summer, really just looking forward to doing some more camps. Because I'll be doing that with the Mystics. They have some like pregame clinics, another like a week-long camp that I'll be doing with them. So I'm just very excited to be working with some young girls. Because I did majority like guys.
Hold your bag or something. No, I'll come along with you.
Yes, man, like yeah. So
yeah,
I'm really trying, because I know I'm just starting to build these relationships, and like you said, the representation is not that many like black young women in these spaces, in sports industry. So I'm trying to stay in this so I can, give these opportunities too. You know what I'm saying? So that's something I definitely want to build towards. Network as much as possible.
Well, y'all here. She's on the Talkers First Doors podcast, The Mental Game. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all see what she brought to us. So, hey, she want to do more accounts. I'm all about elevating, put her out there. Also, on all social media platforms, we will post all your information on there. So, if you guys want to reach out her directly, she says she do career readiness now. So, don't be like, oh, Coach Trevor, they called me, hit me up and everything in the DMs. Like, you said it on the podcast. I'm definitely going to have that on there. Respectfully, the information that she give me to put out there, so you guys, so make sure you are following her. They'll be on there, and also in our stories when it posts and air, you guys are gonna see it, especially my young athletes. Most definitely one of the tops you guys need to put on your follow list. But y'all know what it is, though. It's your girl, Coach Perry. And as always, as we end this awesome episode, don't just talk about change, be a doer of change. Let's grow, you guys.